The chair recognizes the ranking member, the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Stearns.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much, and thank you for that generous introduction. You and I have been friends, and we share interest in sports across the board. And I've been an admirer of yours, and also you and I have debated many times, and you're very skillful, so I have a great deal of admiration for you, and I welcome the opportunity to be the ranking member, and also to compliment my predecessor, Mr. Upton of Michigan, who did an excellent job, and he is helping me, and I look forward to this transition with his help and yours, Mr. Chairman, and I'm so pleased to be here. And I would say to the witnesses, we appreciate your time. I would say, though, to the gentlelady from California that perhaps my take on this issue is perhaps a little bit different than hers. I think there's a way to balance out the need for innovation and let the cable companies have a little bit an opportunity to provide innovation and to provide more channels through the digital rather than the analog spectrum, with also providing access to the consumers to PEG channels. So I perhaps will give a different perspective, which I think would be healthy, Mr. Chairman, in a hearing of this nature.
You just have to be careful today when you say the gentlelady from California, because that's all we have today. So just you have to be more specific today.
Okay. Well, I was speaking on an issue, of course, who previously spoke and opened up the hearing, but I do welcome the gentleladies from California, too. Mr. Chairman, we now have a marketplace of convergence where labels don't matter anymore, where there was once separate the phone, cable, and wireless, and so forth. Now it's all blurring together, and the convergence is coming. And in order for this innovation to continue, we've got to allow the companies to innovate and not put handcuffs on them. Cable operators may need to convert certain channels to digital format. This conversion allows cable operators to save capacity for faster broadband service and more channels, including more high-definition content. So going digital also enables advanced features such as video on demand and interactivity. In fact, each analog PEG channel uses the same space as 3 high-definition channels, 10 video on demand channels, 15 standard definition channels, or 42 megabytes per second broadband service. So the purpose of this hearing is to examine the digitization of PEG channels, what that means to the consumer, and the innovation I talked about earlier. Now, the Communications Act allows municipalities to require cable operators to carry PEG channels. Some cities are concerned that digitizing PEG content will make it less accessible to consumers. I understand their concern. Comcast in Michigan announced plans this past November to offer PEG channels only in digital format. As a result of Comcast's change, a subscriber with an analog television would need a digital cable set-top box to continue receiving the PEG channels. Comcast has offered to provide such a consumer one set-top box per household at no cost for 1 year. Additional boxes after the first year would cost $4.20 per month. Cable companies, like our television broadcasters, are in the process of converting their transmission to digital format. Because the cable transition does not directly implicate the public airwaves or the availability of spectrum for emergency responders, no transition deadline has been mandated for cable operators. Instead, they are making individual decisions on when and how to transition to digital based on capacity constraints, the consumer demand, and the availability of their investment capital. Most cable systems today have some subscribers receiving analog channels and some receiving digital channels. Thus, they are currently simulcasting the local broadcast channels and PEG channels in both analog format and standard definition digital format. So, my colleagues, so long as cable operators meet their legal obligations regarding carriage of particular content, we should allow the free market, not the heavy hand of regulation, to determine how and when to convert to digital. Congress has been pushing cable operators to carry more content, as well as increase broadband speeds and penetration. Cable operators are attempting to balance these sometimes competing forces. Cable providers are in a better position, my colleagues, than regulators to determine how to maximize service for their consumers. If they calculate wrong, obviously they're going to lose business. Let them do it, But I believe this hearing is very important to hold it, and I look forward to hearing from our witnesses. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.